everybody, welcome to Megha Discourse. And as you know that we have made a series of cultural studies, and in this series it includes 3 videos, and in these 3 videos we are covering most of the cultural critics that comes into the UGC NET English examination. We have already completed our 2 videos, thereby covering 9 cultural critics. So in this video we would be talking about more cultural critics. We have covered all the key terms and all the major books and the ideas of all these culture critics. So without any delay, let us just start our today's video, and I hope this video will be really beneficial for you for this UGC NET examination. Let us talk about Fredric Jameson. Now Fredric Jameson is an American cultural critic. He is also postmodernist theorist with Marxist philosophy. So there are various important key terms of Fredric Jameson. Let us just talk about them one by one. So first we have is capitalism. Now Fredric Jameson talks about capitalism a lot. Capitalism came into the being when there was an industrial revolution in the Britain, and in that industrial revolution we saw that people are looking for capital, looking for wealth and money and progress. So capitalism is all about that people want money, and there are few producers. There is a lot of demand of money and materialistic things, progress and technology, industries and different machineries, which leads to profit. So that is all about capitalism, and those producers are just aiming for the profit maximization. Now in the contemporary times we have late stage capitalism. What is late stage capitalism? Firstly, capitalism was all about industrial revolution, the uses of machinery, labor. But now in late stage capitalism there is a difference, there is a slight shift. Now there is a labor, there is an exploitation, there is the demand of money, but the type, or we can say the way, has changed. Now we have digitalization, now we have privatization, now we talk of technology. There is also exploitation in these things, but this is a different kind of capitalism. Now let us talk about his second idea, which is postmodernism. Now whenever we talk of Fredric Jameson, the first thing that comes into our mind is his major idea of postmodernism. He says that postmodernism is a forced phenomenon. Modernism was something which said that yes, there should be progress in the society, and there should be truth, there should be one thing, there should be less decorations, and we should always look for things like that, new ideas and high culture, low culture. Modernity was all about that. But postmodernist says that why there should be high and low culture? Let us just mix all the people. There is no high and low culture, there is no high culture, we have popular culture. Do whatever you want, make the things that suits to you, wear whatever you, follow your own trend. Fredric Jameson says that there is a cultural and aesthetic shift from modernism to postmodernism after coming of mass media, different mass products, commodities, lots of cheap phones, plastic products, and different affordable cheap items, fancy items, fast fashion, fast food, trendy fashion. So all these things are associated with mass media and popular music, popular blockbuster movies, diverse magazines, journals. So all these things are related with so when this mass media came, there is a postmodernism. Now things are not like high and low culture. There should be, the value should be on that individual person. There is no less is more. Decorations are needed. We need decorations. Make different collages, mix different kinds of images, mix different people. There is hybridity, and there is nothing high and low. There is no parody, only pastiche. We will talk of this later. Postmodernism, it's all about depthlessness. There is no depth. There is no clarity. There are no lines between two things. There are no differences. There is no linear narrative. Things are not that easy now. Things are not linear. They are mixed. There is a collage, and there is a lack of originality. You have seen different YouTube videos. There we make we do not know that from in which song we have the line from another song, and different mixing of languages and different mixing of scenes. And so media is also using all these features. Late capitalism is all about information age, but old capitalism was all about industrial age. Now the data is more important, now the information is more important. So this is the difference. The other idea which he talks about is the political unconscious. In the book The Political Unconscious, he says that Like he has borrowed this idea from Sigmund Freud, who said that there is an unconscious part in our mind. What we think and what we do and then take actions is all about that we are conscious, is something that we are doing in a conscious way. We know about it, we are aware of this, but unconscious is something which we are not aware about. That is something that is in our subconscious mind. We do not know about this, and this unconscious thing is something which makes us dream. So Fredric Jameson says that whenever there is a book, it has its own history, it has its own society, its own social background, historical background, economic factors, and in a text we have different factors which affects the text itself. So even a text has a political unconscious. If I am a writer and I am writing a book, then I must be having the influence of my times, of my history, of my family, my history, my experiences, the age that I am living in, the historical social conditions all around me. And after having all those influences in my mind, then I am writing a book. So of course there must be some influence. So that is political unconscious things. So every text has that. For instance, we have this novel by Jane Austen. The novel is Pride and Prejudice, very famous. So in this novel we have seen that how in 16th century Britain there was a class struggle between the gentry people, which is represented by the character, our main character Elizabeth and Darcy, who was from aristocratic background. So there was a class struggle between the two classes. And then he also talks of parody and pastiche, that postmodernism has pastiche. Now parody means that, whenever there is an imitation of a work, but which is a form of criticism, it critiques the original idea. For instance, if I am making a video on which is based on some another video, and I am just mocking it, I am just telling people that there is this issue in this video, I am critiquing it, ek tarah se I am making a criticism of it. So that is a parody. So in modernist times, so in the modern age, we used to have this parody. But pastiche means that I will make the video on that. I will make an imitation of that work, but I will not criticize it. I will just make the video for the sake of fun. So this is what we are seeing in the postmodern age. There are different, which just mocks, have their own reinterpretations. So that is all about parody and pastiche. Then he talks of schizophrenia. Now what is schizophrenia? When an individual have serious mental illness, and this affects a person's behavior, that how he or she feel, how he or she thinks, what they do and what kind of actions they do take, and they loses the touch with the reality. So there is a fragmentation in the mind. Things are not in unity. There is fragmentation. The things have collapsed and we have no reality. We have no truth. So that is schizophrenia. So in the postmodern age, people have a schizophrenia, not in the literal sense, but in a metaphorical sense. He talks about the idea of national allegory. Now what is this? National allegory is how a nation is represented in the literature. What kind of experiences a nation has, the colonialism, history, politics, past trauma, movements, and the cultural identities a nation has. So that is national allegory. And the other idea he talks about is historical amnesia. Now what is historical amnesia? Amnesia is a state where we do not remember anything. So historical amnesia means that we are living in an age, in a postmodern age, or in, we can say, late capitalism age, where there is an emergence of mass media and we are so distracted by movies, by music, by different general magazines, and Netflix series and lots of things. So we are so distracted in all these YouTube videos and everything like that. We are so distracted that we are not able to even remember. We are not able to even, recognize the people that have done good for our society and for our country, for our freedom. We do not remember the historical facts. We do not remember their contribution. We have no gratitude for them. We are so distracted. We are so into ourselves. So that is historical amnesia. And the other thing he talks about is cognitive mapping. Cognitive mapping means that we should have an awareness of our system, of the map. For instance, the age I am living in. So what kind of society I have, where there is an dominant power relations, hegemony, if there is someone who is exploiting me, ruling me, and I do not know of that, and that hegemony. I have already discussed hegemony in my previous video. So it is all about that how I am living in this world, what surrounds me. So the system, the hierarchy, the norms, the principles, and the things, all these things that have an influence of me. So I should know about this big picture, this map, this system. And cognitive means that I should have an awareness, I should have a cognizance of all these things. So that is cognitive mapping. So this is all about Fredric Jameson. Now let us talk about our second cultural critic, who is Pierre Bourdieu. Now Pierre Bourdieu is French sociologist. He was born in 1930 and died in 2002. So he talks that how power is transferred between different classes and groups, and social order is maintained, and this is transferred to another generation. He has given a few ideas which are really important from the net point of view. Let's just discuss them one by one. First, he says that we have capital. Capital means different kinds of resources that people have in any society. So we all have capital. If I have a book, if I have a car, if I have a house, if I have some skills, some knowledge, if I have good clothes to wear and food to eat, so I have some capital. I have something which is valuable to me so that I can survive in this world. So that is capital. And there are 4 types of capital that in a culture. First is cultural capital. Cultural capital means that what kind of things that we acquire that belongs for culture, like the behavior, the manners, the skills that we have, and the kind of degrees, universities in which we study, what kind of degree we have, either we are from science background, either we are from arts background, and whether we have studied in some renowned university or college, and whether we are having some important books, writers, artworks. So this is all cultural capital. Then we have social capital. Social capital means the type of connections that we have, that networking. So we have seen different kinds of people. There are introverts, there are extroverts. So the extroverts have more networking, they have more connections which are helpful to us. So it is a social capital. So networking is also important. This will make things easy for you to get into new jobs, to get into PhD and things like that. Then we have economic capital. Economic capital is all about the money that you have, the assets that you have, the property, material that can be directly converted into money, the income. Then we have symbolic capital, means that prestige. It is all about the respect that we have, the symbol, the kind of respect, the prestige that we have in a society. So these are all capitals. These are all important things. These are all valuables. Then the other term that he has given is cultural intermediary. This means that there is a gap between the producers and consumers of cultural products. For instance, we have seen YouTube creators. So what they do? They bridges the gap between the origin and us, the viewers. A very good example of this is, so whenever a new picture comes into the market, there are different YouTube channels and fan clubs, or we can say the PR team. So what they do? They just convey the messages that yes, a new movie is coming of actor or actress, and that message is conveyed through them, through their channel, to the viewers, to us. So what they are doing, they are kind of transferring the cultural capital, or we can say the movie that is also part of our culture, to the viewers. He gives 2 more terms, which is habitus and fields. Now habitus is all about our system of belief and the taste that we have and our opinions and the things, the skills that we acquire, and they are important to us for our socialization in the world. So that is habitus. It is all about our upbringing. So how we navigate through this world, how we survive in this world. So all these, our habits, upbringing, taste and principles, our upbringing. So all these things are our habitus. And another term is fields. What is field? Field, he says, is a arena, is a social space or arena in which individual people and group perform their activities by using their own habitus. We can see we have fashion word, we have sports word. So there are different kinds of words. They have their own rules and they have to abide by them. So that is known as field. So whatever we do in our habitus, that is our personal skills, our personal things, and the field, that is an external world. So the interaction of these 2 things is known as theory of practice. That is another term that he gives. Now moving to more terms, we have is reflexivity. Reflexivity means that if I'm a researcher, then I should know my point of view before knowing the point of view of others. That what is me? What is this I here? So I should critically examine my own biasedness, whether I'm biased or not, towards the object of my research. So that is a reflexivity, that we should look at ourselves first. Then we have doxa. It is a set of unquestioned, or we can say taken for granted beliefs that nobody questions. They are widely accepted and nobody is questioning those beliefs. For instance, we have seen that there are lots of aunties and people who tells that a girl should marry in her 20s or maybe earlier than that we should all have a government job, that we should all have 6-digit salaries. So these are all beliefs, taken for granted beliefs. We never question them. We feel that they are so obvious, they are so natural, but they are not. We should question them. So they are known as doxa. Then he also talks about symbolic violence. Now symbolic violence is an invisible or gentle dominating kind of manipulation that we are not able to see. It is a kind of violence that have some symbol. For instance, why do we are more, why do we all want to have British accent? We have our Indian accent. We can talk in Indian accent. We can talk in any accent. But why we people are obsessed with this accent? Why people are obsessed with certain university or certain college or certain, fashionable thing or certain food? Because that thing has a symbol, and it is a kind of manipulation and dominance which is very gradual, which is very invisible, and we do not feel that thing is that thing is manipulating us. We never feel so. So that is a violence, that is a symbolic violence. So this is all about Pierre Bourdieu. Now let us talk about our another culture critic, who is Max Horkheimer. Now Max Horkheimer is one such culture critic who was born in 1895 and he died in 1973. Now he is the leader of Frankfurt School. We have already talked about Frankfurt School in our previous lectures, so go and watch them. So Max Horkheimer has developed a few terms which are important. Now he is associated with developing the idea of critical theory. It is a way of thinking about society. It's not that we just observe the society, we live in it and that's all. No, it's about the way, it's about questioning them, it's about challenging the society, it's about whether there are power relations, whether we are getting exploited. Critically means to assess, to evaluate whether there is something positive here, whether something there is negative here. So critically thinking is all about that. So he has developed this theory, critical theory. Now he has written a book, Dialectic of Enlightenment, published in 1944, along with another Frankfurt School member, Theodor Adorno. We would also be talking about Theodor Adorno after this. So now they both have coined a term which is cultural industry. Now this is the previous year question paper net. Now culture industry is a kind of industry where there is a mass production of culture and there is capitalism. So that culture is behaving like a commodity, and capitalism is all about profit maximization. So we are selling culture, we are buying culture for profits, and this culture becomes like a tool which is controlling us and we are becoming passive. Now you have seen that we all are using different phones, different movies. We are all watching different movies, listening to different music and enjoying Netflix and paying the bills, and we all are happy, attending different music concerts, watching different cricket and different games, matches, and we are happy because they are keeping us busy, they are keeping us distracted. And just because we are distracted, we would not question the authority, we would not question the significant areas of our life, of our society, of our culture. And that's all because there is a standardization and pseudo individualization. Standardization means that they have set these standards, that they have made these standards. All things are look-alike, different phones, similar features, similar patterns, similar routine, everything is similar. We are consuming everything is similar. You have to pay the price, you have to pay the bills, you have to take the subscription. So there is a standardization. And then we have pseudo individualization. That means that we are individuals, we have a agency, we have a freedom. Now that is a pseudo idea. How? There is no individualization. We are under the impression of freedom, but that is all false. We are not individuals. We are having somebody, authority is ruling us. They have a hegemony over us. They are controlling us. Now the other term, that is, in this term he says that how modernism was considered to be an age where we will become more aware, where we will become more progressive, we will improve, we will do wonders. But this did not happen. There is nothing rational. Instead, there is domination. We are not liberal. We are more dominated now than before. We are more in the stress. So that is dialectic of enlightenment. That enlightenment was just a dream. We are not yet enlightened. We are not yet modern. We are still stuck between the powers, between the power relations. Now he also talks of authoritarian personality. In this theory, he tells that there are certain personality traits which makes individuals vulnerable to anti-democratic ways and faces. So from the time we were born, there are certain personality traits that we develop, some routines, some habits that forms our identity, and we become obedient, we become slavish-like, we follow the things, we become conformist. Then he talks of instrumental reason. Instrumental reason is all about thinking in the terms of instrument, in terms of structures, in instruments, in formulas. And we are not thinking of somebody's emotion, of the humanity part. And we have dehumanized the society. We are thinking in terms of money, in terms of formulas, in terms of logic. And we are not looking for the truth. We are looking for the fame and how to increase the income, how to get more famous, how to get more money, how to live in comfort. We are not looking for the truth and anything like that. Not looking for the harmony. So all these things have dehumanized our society. We are humans, but we are not behaving like humans. So that is all about instrumental thinking. So these were the ideas of Max Horkheimer. Now let us talk about Theodor Adorno, who is also a member of Frankfurt School. Now he was a German philosopher and a sociologist who was also a musicologist. And now he was a critic of mass media, of mass culture, of cultural industry. We have also talked that how they have Max Horkheimer and Theodor Adorno, they have both developed this term of cultural industry. Now let us talk of his other ideas. He has also influenced European New Left. Theodor Adorno says that there is a standardization of cultural production in society. As I have told you that things are in standards. There are standards. They are very similar, but we are all following them. But we all are following them because we think that this is the way to do things. But this is not the way it is. They have made us conformist. We have to follow certain standard rules, formulas. We have to, get into the line. We have to subscribe. We have to follow certain rules, formulas. So the things have been standardized. Beauty standards, a very good example of this. Different standards that we have. Then he talks of commodified culture, that things are commodified. Even the art is commodified. Things are not for their sake. They are for the money's sake. And then he talks that how there is a uniformity all around. There is same expression. You cannot say anything which is very counter to the mainstream idea. Then he talks of mass consumption in order to make profit. And this, consumption, that this consumption will make you, give you pleasure. This is all just a myth. And he also says that how there is a loss of critical thinking. That we are not thinking critically. We are distracted. We are distracted in watching the matches, in Netflix, movies, music. We are distracted. We are not looking at the big picture and the big questions about climate, about unemployment, about inequality, about different, animal cruelty. So this is all distraction and loss of critical thinking. We do not talk about the newer generation, the Gen Zs and other. They are becoming so brain rot, who are used to short content. They do not watch longer videos, they enjoy shorts, and they are not reading books. They are so relied on just consuming digitally and shortcuts. And the last term which he gives is commodity fetishness or fetishism. This is a kind of concept which was developed by Karl Marx, but he says that how different expensive things, how we think that different expensive things and rare things have some intrinsic value. That there are certain commodities which are branded, which have limited editions, limited number, limited quantity, and which are endorsed by celebrities and influencers, and we just follow them, we try to buy them even if we do not afford them. We pursue that thing, we chase that thing, that we have to buy this, we have to buy this cream, we have to buy that kind of car, that kind of clothes that celebrity is wearing, because there is fetishness. We think that if we wear that thing, then because that thing has some intrinsic value, has some internal value, if I wear H&M or Zara, then I will have some H&M and Zara-ness in me. It will make me feel good, it will make me feel superior to others. So that is commodity fetishism. So this is all about Theodor Adorno. Let us talk about John Fiske now. Now, John Fiske is a British cultural theorist who was born in 1939 and died in 2021. Now, he was somebody who associated to the TV culture and media studies. So he has given a few key ideas. First is that he talks of semiotic democracy. Now, he says that like a democracy, we fight, we make meanings, we fight, we represent ideas, and we have certain ideology, and there are some values and meanings. So semiotics is all about the study of signs, S-I-G-N-S. He says that in a culture, all humans are free, or we can say are democratic, to participate in making their own meanings. We all can make our meanings. We all can interpret different symbols, images, audios, and different myths according to our own ideology. So that is semiotic democracy. Then he talks of power block. What is power block? Power block is all about dominant groups which have their own power. They have hegemony. There are the dominant class of a society, and they shape the ideology of the people. So they are power block of a culture. Then he gives a theory which is communicative theory. He said that yes, he has borrowed this theory's idea of encoding message and decoding that message from Stuart Hall. And he says that yes, I do agree with this Stuart Hall. Please watch the previous lectures for this idea of Stuart Hall. So he says that yes, there is an encoding and decoding of message. And I do agree that any message have a power to communicate. So the consumers, or we can say the listeners, the audience, have a power to resist, to change, and to negotiate, and to construct or make their own meaning. So that is a communicative theory of a message, of a media. Then he talks of X corporation. Now, what is X corporation? X corporation means by which the subaltern, or we can say the marginalized group of a society, make their own, culture by using different resources, by collecting different resources which are provided by the dominant class. So they challenge the dominant ideas. For instance, you can see that how we first resisted the English language, but after learning the language, we are kind of resisting, we are challenging them, we are learning, we are growing in their language, and we are challenging them, resisting them in their own language. So that is X corporation. Now let us just come to our last culture critic of this lecture, which is who is Angela McRobbie. Now Angela McRobbie was born in 1951, is a feminist and a British cultural critic, British cultural theorist and a sociologist. Now she has studied about the popular culture, the media, and specifically about how women is represented in the media and on the screens, and about the youth culture. So she says that how young people and girls are represented in popular culture. Now she has given terms like girly feminism and post-feminism, and there was a magazine name of which was Jackie. Now this magazine was a magazine of essays, and those essays were a kind of prescription to the women of how they should look, of how should they appear, how should they behave, what should be their etiquettes. So this magazine, Jackie, became an object of her criticism. So she specifically says that magazines like Jackie are leading to the women's exploitation, to the women exploitation, and this is leading to consumer culture. If you will tell a woman to look good and in order to look good they have to follow some beauty standards and do the makeup. Then they will go and and they will go to the market, they will buy the makeup, they will buy different things, they will consume different things. So this will lead to consumer culture. And she has written books like books on young culture, youth culture, like Feminism and Youth Culture, from Jackie to Just 17. And she talks that how in this postmodern age where things are fragmented, where there is no lines, where there is no distinction, things are intersecting. So here this women have to negotiate for their own rights. It says that this girly feminism which emerged in 1990s was all about feminism, that how a female is independent on what she should consume. I have an independence of what the things of the I have an independence over the things that I want to buy. So this is an empowerment on my part. So that is girly feminism, that in order to look girly, in order to have my own girly traits and my own activities that I like, I am free to do whatever I want. She also talks of creative industries like movie production houses and different firms which are of creative niche, and she talks of the flexible labor wages and how women are exploited in those places also. That is all about Angela McRobbie. So thanks that you have stayed this long with me. So if you have found this video helpful, then please like and subscribe our channel, like this video. And now I have other units like literary theory and criticism on my to-do list. So please tell me in the comment section that which one unit you want first. So I will be making the video on these two units in upcoming days. So I want you to stay tuned and watch all the 3 lectures of culture studies, which covers almost all the important cultural critics and all the key terms and important books. And one note that I want to tell you is that I have also included the pictures of important books in the video. So please revise them, the most important one, the most important ideas and those books, and you're good to go. So thank you.